Hello Fish fans, today we're going to be studying Slave to the Traffic Light. Great jam, and if you guys are familiar with the live one version, really, actually, in my opinion, a subdued version, but really a good solid version, something to study to understand what we're doing. And when I say subdued, I don't mean bad, it's just I've seen them live and Trey can either rip it or it can kind of hold back, and that version's a really good, like, held back version. I'll stop talking about that. So let's just talk really quickly about Slave to the Traffic Light. Great chord progression. We're going to start off just with simple chords, just to show you what's going on here. We have the A major, right? And I'm sure you guys pretty much know this. To the G major, and then to the D, and to the E. So let's really just talk about what's going on here to study, okay? So we have A, G, and D major so far. We like that. Now what that is, ends up being a 1, 4, and 5 in the key of D. In the key of D, we have the 1, 4, and 5 in D is D, G, and A. So here we have the 5, which is the A. We have the 4, which is the G, and to the 1, which is the D. So far, so good. And then all of a sudden, boom, we have an E major chord. Now, this E major chord actually pulls out of the key that we're generally in, but here's the crazy thing. If you watch my blues videos, okay, if you look on the A, you have A, right here, 5th fret, A, and then the D's next door, and E. And this A, D, E is a 1, 4, and 5 in the key of A, D, and E. So we have this, sorry, in the key of A, yeah, right, that's what I said. We have this crazy transitional key change here where the first part is really tied around the key of D, and then we pull this E chord, even just to let you know where he gets this E chord from, is that it works well with the A, the E, D, and A. They kind of have this like swirling, changing chord progression that sounds nice. Now, for soloing, what Trey does and what we're going to do, just to explain, is we are going to use the A, G, and D as the key of D. And when we pull up to this E chord, we're actually, instead of thinking of the key of A, because we can see it as a 1, 4, and 5, and this is like the 5 of A, we can see it like that. But what we're going to do is we're actually just going to play it as if it's a standalone E chord and change the key right there, change the tonal center. So you have the key of D starting here, and we're still in the key of D, and we go to the G because we're all in the grouping of D major, and there's my 1, and then all of a sudden we're going to pull it up. Now really listen to that chord progression, listen to how it changes sonically when we get to that E. Comes. Okay, really picks up. All right, so I just want to show you why those chords work well together. It's a 1, 4, and 5 in one key, and an overlap of 1, 4, and 5 in another key. You can disregard that if you want to, but here we go. So the key of D, D major. Okay, so the first 3 chords we cover in the key of D. So the best D major scale that I find that we can solo in for comfort and use is going to be all the way up on the 17th fret here. Again, if you want it, there'll be a chart below to help chart everything out. So we're going to use, remember, D major. So we have 17 with your pinky on the A string, 17, then D string, 14, 16, 17. And then we're going to use the G string 14, 16, B string 14, 15, 17, and the E string 14, 15, 17. So we have this starting here, that's our root note here. Pause, rewind, see if you can get that down. All right, so let's talk about a couple things here. This is a D major scale, so your root note is here on the 17th fret of the A, and also the 15th fret of the B. So here are your Ds. Okay, well, we're going to use this as a tonal center scale, all right, which is one way of soloing, all right, where we pick like a central key and we focus on it. So we have, let's see, D major, and let's find out where the A is. Okay, so the A is going to be on the 17th fret. I always say that. 17th fret of the E, 14th fret of the G. There's your A's. Your G's are going to be on the 15th fret. There it is, 15th fret of the E. And also the 17th fret, really, I swear, 17th fret of the D. Okay, so you have D's, A's, and G's. Okay, so now when the band is on the A, guess what? You're going to start an A. Then to the G, you're going to stay in the scale. And then when it goes to the D, you're going to hit the D note. So far, so good. All right, so you can hear the solo like. And now, whoom, right? All the way up to the E. And all we got to do, really, if you want to stay in this comfort zone, you take this entire scale, this is D major, and you can move it up 2 frets to E major. Same exact shape, but everything is now up 2 frets. It's the same exact scale shape. So you take that D major scale and move it up 2 frets, and now your root note is on the, let's see, 19th fret, that's an E, and the 17th fret, here, these are E's. And you want to hit those in the chord changes. So you have the A, you're in the D major scale, to the G, you're in the D major scale, to the D, you're in the D major scale, sorry, and then E, alright? I hope I said D major scale for all those. Oh, who knows? I'm tired. All right, so, and then we have our E major, okay? So for that, we have a chord change or a key change right there. So we're going to take our D major scale, pull it up to E. So here it is what it sounds like without the chords playing. So I have the A, G, D. I'm going to mess up there. Then take this up 2 frets. Start again. A, G, D, E. Okay, so really quickly, you're in these 2 scales moving back and forth. One scale for a bulk of the chord progression, and one scale on that key change up. Now, that's one way to solo. We got to talk about the other way. This way of doing it is really what I call it the savory system. It's just my saying, but it's a good term. It's savory, it's hearty, it does the job. You're staying within a tonal center, and you're hitting the notes within the chord. And now the other option, which I do call the sweep method, which is where you are now changing with the chords. Now this shouldn't be new for you. If this is your first StichMethod video, then you probably sound lost. So go watch the other videos, all of them. They all make sense. So for you who've been watching the Fish ones, this stuff should make sense, kind of, and the Grateful Dead ones, whatever. So what we're going to do is now we're going to start changing with the chord progression, right? So we have an A. All right. So the one that Trey does use a lot, and it's in the famous ending of the live one, is we're going to use, really, if you have seen my my Ramble on Rose video. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Okay. For the A major scale, we're going to use the this root note, this A up here. Now, it's a little tight, but nonetheless, if you're soloing and you're rocking, the band's going, I say do it. Okay, just do this. It's up here. It's fun. We have 17, that's your root note, 17, 19. Then on the B string, 17, 19. And then you can put your middle finger on the 18th fret. All right? And the very famous riff that he does, just to show you, let's see if we can get up here, is going to be barring the 17th fret right here. All right, on the E and B, ring finger is going to go on that 19th fret. You're going to pull off, and really, so you have 19th fret, that's your A. This is all A major stuff. This is all an A major scale. Like, let's see, ooh. It's all A major, but there's that Ramble on Rose type shape that I showed you. 17, 19, 17, 19, 18, and for the A chord, G chord, 2 frets down, same exact shape. Okay, so and you can do the same type of riff here. You're on the 15th fret here. You're gonna bar on the E and the B and the 15th fret, and you're gonna pull off on that 17th fret. So, and then pinky to the next note. So that very famous riff they puts in there. Oh my God. Now, really simply, if you want to do in the D, go to the D type thing. Same thing, 10th fret. And then up 2 frets to the E. But he doesn't really bring it down to the D, but you can do it there. So you have your A here, let's see, G, D, E. But what he does is definitely has the A major, G. Then we're going to go back to that D chord, back to that D chord shape right here, or the D scale shape, the one that we just used earlier, and bring it to the E. kind of like that. Okay, it's really tight up there. Again, I'll have the charts out for you, but here's the two main premises. We're sticking in the 1, 4, and 5, A, G, and D, 5, 4, 1 of the key of D. We're using a D major scale. When we pull up to the E major, we're just going to pull up our scale to the E major scale. So 75% of it is in one scale, and then 25% we move with the chord. And then the other way of doing it is kind of, I mean, you can do this if you know A major scales over the neck, or G major scales, or D major scales, E major scales. It's all going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to assign the right scale for the chord that's happening. So we start on the A, and you hit A major scale, and then you'll move to a G major scale when they move to G and D. So here's all the concepts I'll put together. Let's see, I'm going to play this. Here we go. Oh, it's really loud. Okay, so here we have the A. So A, D, G. I'm in that one scale. D, E, A, G, D, and pull up to the E. Now I'm going to change my scales with the chords. A, G, D, right there, I was mixing and matching, whatever I chose to do. I could have stayed in that D scale for the A, G, and D and moved to the E, or I could pick the right scale or a different scale for every different chord change. So that's the main, vibe of how you want to get the melodies for soloing. I could do this lesson for a half hour, but that's the main vibe. You're going to practice yourself. And really quickly, if you want to do, I'm just going to show you this, really song-specific move here. Just if you want to keep it subdued, like the live one version, and again, I call it subdued just because he does these great chord inversions all the way up. So here's a little bonus for you. So you have an A. So if I was playing this, A, okay, 5th fret, A, then 7th fret D shape right there. That's a G. Put your first finger on the 7th fret. That's a D chord. And just kind of nail, and then up to the E. So we'll do that again. A, G, D, E. Then now you're on the 9th fret. Make a D shape. That's an A. Okay, to the G, you're gonna put your first finger on the 12th fret. Then to a D, you're gonna make a D chord. Right on that 14th fret, and pull up, to the E. And you can do that stuff. Then you can go as your soloing. I hope that all made sense. It's quick and dirty, but the concept is right. If you feel like moving these scales anywhere and discovering the concepts anywhere in the neck, go for it. But this is the sound of Slave to the Traffic Light. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm fighting a cold, by the way, so I hope I didn't come across as not as happy as usual, so I apologize. But have a great week. I'm posting out more videos as we speak. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.